Namaste, everyone. It's Wednesday, it's the middle of the week, time to reflect and reset a few intentions that I'm going to be doing today. I've also decided that on Friday I will be taking a week off social media just to do a mini retreat and a bit of a detox because it's been a very emotionally charged week. We've had a lot of things going on in the news out here in Australia, mainly centered around a TV celebrity who, while not quite Harvey Weinstein, has quite an ugly past coming out. There's been a lot of, pardon me, emotions on both sides of the camps coming out, and I found myself quite appalled by a lot of people's reactions, thinking that the best way to deal with it is to make up like little dirty limericks about what he did. And I found it quite confronting. I didn't find the memes funny. I don't think sexual assault is funny. I don't think the victims will find it very funny. So I also had to deal with the fact that a lot of my friends liked these posts, shared them, saw nothing wrong with it, yet were the first to denounce Harvey Weinstein and everyone over in America who did the same thing. So I had to really reevaluate things, and as a result, I found myself unfollowing people for a while, be it permanently or temporarily. And then I thought to myself, well, I'm just going to withdraw from the situation altogether. Focus on my Buddhism and psychology course, focus on my Ayurveda, focus on my Reiki, and really turn inward and just focus on myself, on bettering myself, being a better person, being present in the moment, really finding that I need to focus more on the IRL or in real life stuff than I do on, contacting people, keeping in touch with people that aren't actually physically in my life at the moment. Friends, family, that kind of thing. I'm consciously trying not to say as well. So if I stop dead, that's why, because I don't want to sit there and go, I saw yesterday's post and it drove me berserk. So I can only imagine how it's going to drive anyone else berserk who's going to watch it. A friend of mine said it's Stoner Tuesday, which was quite amusing. So yes, I'm conscious of trying not to say all the time. So I apologize if I do. Having said that, I've decided that today I'm going to take a step back, refocus, reset my intentions, and focus on being more calm, more conscious of what I'm doing, not reacting, trying to stay in the moment, really, what's the word I'm after? Really, sorry, there's that other word that I wasn't after. Really dissect things, investigate why I'm feeling that way, and try and pinpoint the source of my reactions. Because 99 times out of 100, our reactions aren't to what's actually happened. It's to how we feel and the emotions that are evoked by something. So it's not necessarily the action itself. It's the way we have been programmed to react over many repetitions of feeling that way. For example, when someone cuts me off in traffic, my first reaction is to call them a multitude of four-letter words in various languages that I've learned over the years. And that's something that has been innately programmed in me since I was 19, when I first got my full license and drove on the roads, and had some very bad experiences with people who were very aggressive and picked on me because I had my provisional plates, my P plates. So that has stayed in my head, and it's been ingrained because the first time I was cut off like that, people actually stopped and had a go at me about a sticker I had on my car. So now whenever anyone cuts me off, my first reaction is to get very aggressive and defensive. And that's something that I'm 42 years old now, so that's over 20 years of programming that I've had. So I need to consciously deprogram myself or stop myself from the whole pattern of getting upset, getting angry, yelling and swearing, and then I'm in a bad mood for the rest of my drive. I drive to and from work each day. So that's a lot of tension and anger and stress that I'm putting myself under. It doesn't happen every day, but it happens regularly. People will cut you off because they're in a hurry, they need to get somewhere, they think that they misjudge space, all kinds of things. They're not consciously going, there's that Buddhist chick, I'm going to piss her off, I'm going to cut her off, and I'm going to make her day miserable. We all think, oh, how could you do that to me? They're not actually doing it to you. They're doing it because they have an urgency to get somewhere or do something, or they're just being idiots. That happens too, and you can't control when someone's a dick, which is something that you have to learn the hard way. There are times when you really wish you could tell someone they were a dick and give them a good throat punch. I know I'm guilty of it, but you can't do that. Anyway, so that's one thing, because driving is such a big part of my life that I have to really consciously make sure that I do not allow myself to get triggered by people who drive like idiots. Otherwise, I'm going to be constantly in a state of stress and anger, and that's not something I want to do. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to get to work and be really keyed up. I don't want to get home and the first thing my daughter wants to do is give me a hug, and I'm still wound up by some douchebag who cut me off about 10 minutes ago, or, 10 kilometers ago. It's ridiculous. So that's my first thing. The second thing is I'm going to actually sit there and give myself a little mini retreat and a refresher course on the basics of Buddhism. So the 4 Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. I am going to put links in the body of this vlog of the 4 Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. Almost got away with it. To put it in perspective, the 4 Noble Truths are 4 key points of life that are always going to be there. For example, the first one, that life is dukkha, life is unsatisfactory, life is not always suffering. I mean, suffering, as I've said in previous vlogs, suffering is the standard definition, but it's not true. Dukkha is closer to unsatisfactory or restlessness, and we're not always happy in life. Things annoy us. We get not necessarily really angry about it, but there are things that really annoy us, like, my daughter will sometimes leave her clothes on the floor in the bathroom. It's not earth-shattering. It's not going to destroy my life. It's not going to really do much except give me an extra 2 seconds, 5 seconds to pick the clothes up and put them in the laundry basket. But it really, sometimes I just think, fuck, that kind of thing, that's dukkha, being annoyed or restless or unsatisfactory. Or even with most jobs are not 100% happy all the time. We know that. There are times when you have people ring you and you think, oh, really? Really, do I have to deal with this? And you let it go to voicemail if you don't want to talk to them. And you feel a bit guilty because that's happened. That's dukkha. The second thing is, the more we cling to it, the more we cling to what we want, the worse it will get. The third noble truth is there is a way to stop it. That's the good news. Like the good news, steal another religion's catch cry. The good news is that you can stop it. And the fourth noble truth is that Buddhism offers a way to get out of that dukkha. So that's something that I'm going to be investigating again. And one of the ways to get out of it is the Noble Eightfold Path. That I'm not so good at explaining or paraphrasing, so I will put a link to that in this the body of this email of this video. So that's what my next week's going to focus on. Going over that again, really getting stuck into it. I may post these vlogs, just my thoughts on what I've noticed so far, but I will be pulling back from Facebook, from forums that I visit in regards to Buddhism, because I have some very, very good friends there, but I've noticed that a lot of people lately have become really niggly and argumentative, myself included, and I think that's because even though it's an online forum, when you're there all the time sharing information, you become very accustomed and very comfortable in treating these people like you do friends you see face to face and family. And there are several people there that I've grown very close to, and I've been there since 2009. I've been a regular member on this forum. So to me, they're like family. When I've been ill, they've been very supportive. When I was seriously ill, they were amazing. They stepped up and wanted to financially help me. These are people that have never met me in real life, but speak to me every day. So, you tend to look past the fact that there's a barrier of hundreds of thousands of miles, and you speak to these people like they're your next door neighbour or they're your best friend. So it gets to a point, I guess, where familiarity breeds contempt, or it's almost like cabin fever, and there's been a few niggles here and there, and I just sit there and think to myself, no, I really need to step back, reevaluate things, reset boundaries with certain people, learn to ignore others. So yeah, it's a resetting of the way I interact with people on and offline, in real life, focusing on what I want to do in life, who I want to be, and trying to consciously discard the bad parts of my attitudes and behaviours, if that makes any sense. So that's my goal for the next 7 days. I will try to check in here, but if I don't, then it's because I'm really getting something out of my retreat and I'm in the zone, and that's really important to me at the moment. So over the next coming week, I wish you all well. I hope you have a calm, centered, and peaceful week. Look after yourselves. Be good, be kind. Namaste.